Sarah, you've decided to go back home? Why? When I was just about to arrive at Mom and Dad's place, did you decide to leave? Don't you think that's a little too rude for us sisters? Are you not even going to at least say hello to your younger sister? I heard that you'd brought your boyfriend over here, right? Could you bring him to see me at least one time, please? Hey, stop trying to ignore me, you ugly loser. You're getting really annoying again, so could you shut up? Who the hell are you calling annoying? Do you think you have the strength to call me that to my face? Maybe you're just pissed at me still because of how ugly you turned out. Now, hurry up and answer your little sister properly. I'm still on the road driving home, but I've pulled over at a gas station to fill up, so I guess I can talk to you now. Well, none of that matters right now. What really matters is talking about that man of yours. I heard that you guys are even engaged now, huh? Why do you think it's okay to not introduce him to your sister and just go home? Because I don't want him meeting you. That's my reason. All you are is a piece of crap sister that calls anyone she ever sees ugly and worse than you are. That's really embarrassing at your age, and it is for me too, so I didn't bother waiting for you to get home. I get that you're saying that to sound all tough, but I know the real reason. You didn't want him seeing me because you're afraid I'd take him from you. I bet that the moment he gets a glimpse of my face, he'll jump right off your train and onto mine. He would never be able to take a look back at you once he's seen my gorgeous face compared to your ugly one. That's not at all what I was afraid of. I just don't want him near a vile piece of garbage that spews out all this horrible crap and then thinks it's okay just because it looks good. That's the whole reason I made sure you were out of the house for a while before I came over. But you came back a bit earlier than expected. Yeah, whatever you want to say. Seems like it's not only your appearance that's ugly, huh? Well, this time was just bad luck on my part, so I'll forgive you. However, next time, make sure you let me see him when you're around. There won't be a next time, Brandy. I had only gone over there to let them see who I've been dating and to let them know that he's the man I'll be marrying. And I'm not really planning to throw anything big to celebrate us, so there's really no need to invite you guys to anything. So that was the last time I'll be around you guys ever. Huh? What the heck? You're not even going to get my permission to marry him before you go? I don't really care what you think of us. You're not my parent. And it's not like you care about what happens to some ugly girl like me, right? It's still burned into my brain all the memories of how Mom and Dad treated you so much better than me just because you looked cuter to them. I was told over and over again that you got more than me because you were cuter, and that's the whole reason they never even paid for me to go to college. Right as I had graduated middle school, I had to run away from you guys and luckily was accepted into an all-girls private school that had a dormitory for me to stay in. And when I had asked one time to have a little bit of money for college, they turned me down, so I had to rely on scholarships to get me where I wanted to go. I'm sure you understand now why I had to cut ties with you all for a long time, right? And once again, I am going back to no longer involving myself with you all, so please respect that and leave me alone as well. You have a good point that I shouldn't care about what happens to an ugly little duckling like you, but I'm actually only interested in that man you have there. He's the same age as you, right? And just as I had heard from Mom and Dad, he has a really cute face and is just my type. I bet if he got a look at me, he'd be all over me. What the hell are you saying? Could you calm down a little with those fantasies of yours? His name's Logan, correct? When you guys were backing out of the driveway, he must have gotten a good look at my face, right? I bet that blew him away after looking at your ugly face for the past few years. But aren't I a little too old for him? I bet that he's regretting ever getting engaged with trash like you. I doubt that. And Logan told me that he wasn't interested in you when he got a glance. I think all of that is in your head and in your head only. Or could it be that you're just trying to avoid the inevitable here? Well, he sure is a great-looking man. That face is perfect for me. He graduated from Harvard, right? And is now working for a very large bank, right? He has literally everything that I need in a man. Yet he's going to waste all of that on some lost cause like you. Oh, that poor thing. I'd really love to show him what a real woman can do for him. Excuse me? What the heck, Brandy? I bet I could even get away with getting him to do as I say. He's going to be younger than me in the relationship, so I could act like a dominating sister at times. So what do you think about me marrying him for you? I'd really like it if you handed him over to me soon. What? Have you completely lost your mind now? Is this what it looks like when a middle-aged woman hasn't found a man in years that will love her? I'm telling you that his face is my type, and he's going to have a really successful future. I guess I've just been caught in his net. And when it comes to family, it should be the younger sister getting married first, right? Compared to a run-down-looking girl like you, I should be the one with a man wrapped around her. No, what the frick? That's not going to happen. I hate to have to bring this up, but didn't you only graduate from high school and with awful grades at that? You even had to retake a year, and when looking for work, you went through 3 different jobs before you finally gave up. And you're 9 years younger than I am, making you close to 25 right now. I doubt that you'd ever be able to make conversation with a man like him. Huh? My past education and my job experience have nothing to do with love. My job as a wife is to take care of the house and the family, and I'll use my lovely body and face to make him feel like a king every time he gets home from work. I also have that big sister vibe that a lot of younger guys are into nowadays, so I don't need an education or a job. You'll do the chores and raise a family. You will? All I've seen from you is staying in your room and laying around all day while Mom and Dad still care for you. Mom has to do all the chores for you, and Dad has to still give you an allowance. You think that once you get married, you'll just stand up and do a 180? That'll never happen. You just keep on running your mouth, don't you? I've had enough of this, so just listen to what I'm saying. I'm going to be taking your man, so now hand him over. And then take yourself out to find someone that's a little less attractive and a bit more of a shut-in. I have no idea why you think you can talk to me like this still. I knew for a long time that you had something wrong with you, but I'm starting to wonder if you're even human. You're so freaking weird that I can barely even begin to think of any comebacks with you. Do you really think I enjoy listening to some strange alien talk to me in another incomprehensible language? I'd watch what you're saying, Sarah, because both Mom and Dad are going to be on my side here. Huh? They always let me do anything I want, no matter what it is. I already asked them, and they said that one of their daughters would still be getting married, so nothing would change, and that with me being married to him, it'd make a ton more sense since my beauty matches his. So that Logan is going to be marrying me. I'd hurry up and give up on him so that you can start looking for someone a little less attractive. What the hell is wrong with you all? Do you think that Mom and Dad would really do that? Stop talking out of your butt and go away. And get those gross thoughts of my fiance out of your head. I have no idea what had gotten into you, little Miss Ugly. I'm just asking that you do as the family says and give him to me. Letting him marry you would be a total waste. I bet he would also love to be with a woman like me anyway, so you both get back in your car and come back here for the handoff. He's my fiancé after all. My little Logan. I'm gonna vomit. Listen, Brandy, Logan has been reading all of this conversation, and he says he wants to have a word with you. I'm going to let him speak with you now. What? Really? I bet he's going to propose to me. Oh, I'm so happy. Hurry up and give him my number.
Nice to meet you. I'm glad to be able to marry your younger sister, Sarah, and my name is Logan Bohr.
Well, nice to meet you as well. We just got to meet only a little while ago, huh? I'm Sarah's younger sister, Brandy, and I look forward to marrying you.
Well, my fiancée is Sarah. You have no relation to me besides being my fiancé's sister, so please stop what you're doing.
You don't have to hide your feelings for me anymore. Hey, you can give up on that ugly girl and come and marry me instead. I know that you have an interest in me, right, Logan? I knew by the way you looked at me while backing out of the driveway that you had started to get feelings for me. I suppose this is love at first sight, you and I.
I'm not enjoying listening to these jokes. I had only been looking at you to understand who Sarah's sister really was. And about that love at first sight, unlike you, I didn't feel such a thing while looking at you. The person I'm going to marry is Sarah.
Are you really all right marrying someone as ugly as her? You don't have to keep our love for each other a secret anymore. If you didn't know, she's always looked that bad ever since she was born. If you marry that kind of a girl, you'll end up with ugly children as well.
Unlike what you keep thinking, I don't find Sarah to be ugly in any way. To me, she's a very cute and lovely woman. And since she's the most important person to me, I don't want to hear you talking poorly about her anymore.
You have to be joking, calling her cute. Logan, have you really not noticed just how horrible of a person you've been dating? I suppose we'll need to get you a pair of glasses before the wedding, you poor thing. I bet that the moment you put those bad boys on and see my looks compared to hers, your heart will change in an instant. I think you deserve to have a good-looking wife like me, don't you think? And by having a hot-looking wife in your house, your status will go right up. So go get rid of that girl and come back to a beauty like me.
I'm sorry. I know that you've been going on and on about how good-looking a person you are and whatnot, but have you taken a good look into a mirror lately? Well, to put this bluntly, and I'm sure this will sound rude and all, but you don't look as good as you hype yourself up to be. I'm sure that has to do with you neglecting your hygiene, right? I've noticed that you have a ton of pimples and blemishes on your face that really stand out. Also, your skin looks to be really oily, and I couldn't help but wonder when the last time you took a good shower was. And, well, I'm not sure what to say here, but from the way you've been treating my fiance, it seems like you have something mentally wrong with you that needs to be addressed.
What? Are you saying I'm hard to look at? Me? That could never be. How rude of you to say something like that to me.
I told you I would be blunt. I never meant for any of that to be mean towards you, but since you keep making fun of my fiancé, I had no other choice than to state some very obvious facts about you. Honestly, I'm angry with you, so I had no choice but to tell you off like this. Compared to you, Sarah not only looks better than you, but she has a way better and healthier heart than you do. Really, it's hard to even compare you to someone as amazing as her.
Stop screwing around, Logan. Are you seriously going to sit there saying that she looks better than me? How could that possibly be? Maybe I was wrong about you having a hard time seeing and needing glasses. Really, you seem to just be blind to what true beauty is.
Well, if that's the case, then I'm fine being blind. At least I still get to love a woman that doesn't have a warped soul, who finds it okay to pick on her little sister and threaten to take her fiancé from her. So I'm glad to be marrying Sarah.
Warped? What makes you think I'm that bad of a person? You need to get a grip, Logan. There is no way I could be that kind of a person. Apologize to me. Apologize to me right now. You can't call me any of that. Now come over here and get on your knees and apologize to me. If you don't apologize to me right now, I'm going to disown her.
Well, that would be great, actually. She already had to leave that house when she was 13 because you guys never cared for her. And this whole time she had been trying her best to at least let you guys know about her life and me becoming her fiancé. So if you think you have to disown her, well, it'll take a lot of weight off her back and mine. And she's already told you that she no longer wants you guys around her anymore, so this is just perfect. Also, I plan to take great care of Sarah as she becomes a part of my family. So you won't need to worry about how she's doing anymore.
What? What is wrong with you? What are you thinking? You'll be stuck living with an ugly witch for the rest of your life, you know, and she's going to be cast out by her family. Why is any of that okay with you?
Because unlike you, she is a very beautiful adult that has succeeded in many things on her own. She doesn't even need to rely on a man like me to function and can do all she needs to on her own. And that's what makes me love her so much. So compared to you, she's a perfect woman.
What?
And as a final note, I have never in my life dreamed of marrying an ugly, unkempt, and unemployed woman. I'm gonna bring the girl of my dreams into my family in a few months, so while I'm busy enjoying my dream come true, go ahead and do whatever you want. And don't you ever show your pimples and oily face around us again. And make sure to let your parents know what I've said here as well for me. Anyway, I hope to never see you again.
After I finished the conversation with my younger sister, I made a decisive decision to block her from my life. I was done with the toxicity she had brought into my world, and I realized that cutting ties with her was the best choice for my own peace of mind. The conversation had been a long time coming, and when it finally happened, I felt a mix of relief and empowerment. But what really struck me during that time was Logan's reaction to the whole situation. He had been calm and composed, but his words to my sister showed just how deeply he cared for me. His protective instincts were clear, and I felt a warm rush inside knowing that he was on my side, standing up for me in ways that I had longed for but never thought I would receive. It wasn't just what he said that impressed me, but how he said it. He was firm, but never raised his voice, yet every word he spoke hit like a ton of bricks. I think my sister had never been talked to like that before in her life. She was used to getting away with things, to manipulating others into giving her what she wanted, but this time Logan was different. He didn't let her get away with her behavior, and I think that was the wake-up call she desperately needed. I could see the shock in her eyes as he called her out on her actions, and for the first time, I think she finally realized that not everyone would tolerate her entitled behavior. But it wasn't just my sister who received Logan's wrath. He didn't stop at just confronting her. He also spoke directly to her parents. The way he addressed them, telling them how they had enabled her behavior for so long, really opened their eyes. My parents had always been blinded by their love for their daughter, and it took someone like Logan to pull back the veil and show them the ugly truth. For so many years, they had been in denial, making excuses for her, believing that she was simply misunderstood or that her actions could be excused by her youth or circumstances. But Logan didn't hold back. He told them exactly what I had been too afraid to say for so long. And in that moment, the filter was lifted. The reality of the situation hit them hard, and they had no choice but to accept it. The days following that confrontation were tense. My sister became a shell of the person she once was, retreating to her room and not coming out except to grab food. It was almost like she was in hiding, unable to face anyone. I think, for the first time in her life, she was confronted with the full weight of the consequences of her actions. No longer could she rely on her parents to shield her from the truth, and she was forced to reckon with the person she had become. Her parents, too, had changed. They began to treat her differently, no longer tolerating her entitled attitude. I had always felt that they had coddled her, that they had never held her accountable for her actions. But now it seemed like they were finally seeing her for who she really was. They stopped giving her special treatment, and instead, they started to tell her what they always should have. They told her that she needed to get a life, that she wasn't going to be handed everything just because she was their daughter. Day after day, they would tell her she was a failure, that she wasn't living up to her potential, and that she was going to have to face the real world with no help from them anymore. I think that deep down, my sister had always known she wasn't the person her parents thought she was. The entitlement, the spoiled behavior, it was all a defense mechanism. She had never been forced to confront the truth about herself, and now that she was, she didn't know how to handle it. It's hard to change when you've been given everything for so long and never had to work for anything. Eventually, Brandy reached her breaking point. After hearing her parents tell her that she was worthless and a failure every single day, she snapped. She told them that she was beautiful, that she didn't need anyone's validation, and that she would show everyone how amazing she truly was. With that, she decided to leave home and try to find a modeling job, convinced that her looks alone would be enough to open doors for her. Unfortunately for Brandy, the world didn't work the way she expected. She visited agency after agency, but each one turned her away. Her looks alone couldn't make up for her lack of self-awareness, her poor attitude, and the arrogance she carried with her. I'm sure when she walked into those agencies, the people behind the desks must have been amused by her confidence. But I can imagine they saw through the facade. It wasn't just the fact that she didn't take care of her health that made her unattractive to others. It was the bitterness and insecurity that radiated from her every time she spoke. Her rotten heart and inability to accept criticism or rejection only made her even more unappealing. It didn't take long for Brandy to realize that her dream of becoming a successful model was never going to happen. After being turned away from every agency, she had nowhere else to turn but back to her parents. But this time, things were different. When she returned to their house, they told her she was no longer welcome. They had finally reached the end of their patience, and they made it clear that they would no longer support her. They told her that she had to face the consequences of her actions and that it was time for her to figure things out on her own. With nowhere else to go, Brandy was forced to leave her parents' home and live on the streets. It was a sobering experience for her, and although I don't take any pleasure in seeing her suffer, I couldn't help but feel that it was something she needed to experience. It was the harsh reality she had been avoiding for so long. For the first time, she had to face the world without the safety net of her parents.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.